What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Hope everybody's having a great day or night whenever you're watching this. I want to talk about the Orlando Magic because I think they're starting to pick up some steam, starting to play some really good basketball. They're one of the more fun teams in the NBA to watch, and I think that they're having a really, really decent season compared to expectations, and I like a lot of their players, what they got going on. I think they got a good groove going, and I want to talk about them because national media not going to do it, so I'm going to do it right now. Before I do, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and if you enjoy this kind of content, please like the video, but let's give the Orlando Magic some credit and some love. So record-wise, 23-34, nothing too crazy or too impressive or anything like that. They're playing a game right now against the Bulls, and last I saw, they're up by like 10 points with like 5 minutes left. We'll see if they hold on. So, they could be 24-34 at the end of the night, okay? And I think they're playing really good basketball. Since the new year, they're a 500 team, about 20 games, so about 10-10 in that stretch. Going to be a little bit over 500 if they manage to pull off this win against the Bulls. And they got a lot of good wins since the new year. Talking about OKC, Philly, Boston, Denver, who else? Minnesota, New Orleans. Like, these are teams that are all playoff teams or at least contending to be. Those are good wins, especially for a young team. And coming with a young team, you need to have something to build off of, to look forward to. And they have that with Paolo Banchero. I'm on record. That guy is going to be a superstar in the league. It's so easy to tell. The way he gets to the line, he gets buckets in different varieties, plays good defense. It's going to be a really, really good pro. Going to have a really great career. And then Franz Wagner coming in and really making an argument now that he might be one of the best players in his class, which, had Evan Mobley, Scotty Barnes. We don't really know what's going on with Cade because he's been injured all year. But, like, putting himself into that conversation. And that's big ups to him because he's averaging, like, 19 points a game, hitting a couple threes a game, kind of spreading the floor, doing a good job. He's been really the most impressive second-year rookie this year, which that's a big step forward. And it's somebody on this team that I really, really like talking about watching play, Wendell Carter Jr. Honestly, I think they won the trade with the Bulls for Vucevic and all that, that whole deal because they got Wendell out of it. And honestly, value-wise, he's probably more valuable than what Vucevic is to the Bulls just because he's cheaper and he puts up pretty much a very similar stat line. And in my opinion, is a more versatile defender. Yes, he's not as big, but he can switch. He's a little bit better on the perimeter. I like Wendell. I think he's a quality center in a league where there's just not a lot of those anymore. There's a lot of like okay centers, but like there's a big gap between like okay, good, and then stars. So he's definitely in that conversation for being like a top 10 center. Just a good quality player. One of the guys I really wanted to talk about in this video though, so I made it kind of wait this long. Markelle Fultz has had just a resurgence kind of year, averaging like 14, 6, and 4 over the past like 20 games since the new year. Defensively, he's been A1. He's been on it. He had like 6 steals the other night against the Warriors. And he's found his rhythm. He's found his groove. I think he's the point guard of their future, or the 2 guard of their future, depending if you want to mix him with somebody else. I like his game. And I think that when you're looking at the roster, they've got 4 guys really that are like good to star level future players, projecting wise at least. Because you got Markelle, who's really, really solid this year, playing great basketball. And then you got Franz, who, like I've already talked about, has been phenomenal. One of the best players of his class, if not the best this year. And then you got Paolo, who's running away with Rookie of the Year. Looks like a superstar, looks like a stud, everything you need. And then you have Wendell as your center. Like, they got a lot going on. They got a lot of wing depth, and being good at the wings is something that is very, very good in today's NBA because, what are teams really looking for is good wings. Yes, you can find a lot of good point guards. You can find a lot of good 2 guards. Finding those 3s and 4s that are really good, like Franz and Paolo, not as easy. So they've really got 4 cornerstone kind of guys to build around, and they got picks. And I haven't even talked about a couple other guys that I think have really good futures. We're gonna get into them, but I think those 4 guys, that's a good building block for your future, and they could really push for the play-in. They're only like 3 games out of the play-in, and they're playing better basketball than a lot of teams ahead of them right now, so I like it. I like what they got going. A couple other names I want to talk about. Bol, averaging like 10 or 11 points, playing just solid basketball. Looks like he's going to build a good NBA career out of himself after all the injuries that he went through with the feet coming out of Oregon and all that stuff. It was a really low-risk pickup and high reward, and it's really kind of benefiting them. I like what Bol's doing. And then Cole Anthony I wanted to get into because I think I don't like putting a cap on young guys and what they can possibly be, so I really don't know what his potential is. Like, long-term, I don't know how great he can be. But I think on this team, he's a really, really good 6th man down the line. I think that's something that is very valuable in today's NBA, and I think he can produce at a pretty good level. I won't be surprised, seeing him being a six-man, giving you 16, 17 points with like 5 assists. Like, I think he's going to be really good. And then Jalen Suggs, who is in kind of a similar category to me, where I just don't know what he's going to be. I don't know how great he can be because he's had games this year with 25, 26 points, and he's had games this year with 3 or 4 points. Injury issues kind of back and forth, but I don't know what to think of Jalen. And I'm going to leave it at that. I just don't know. He's playing, point guard, two guard. Hardest thing to learn in the NBA is being a lead guard. It takes time, so I'm just going to be patient with it. I don't know what he can be, but, potentially he could be great, or it could turn out bad. I don't know, but I'm going to give him time and patience to see how good he can be. Last person I want to give a little bit of credit here is Jamal Mosley, the coach. I think he was an excellent hire. Thought they nailed that from day one. And, getting a coach that was a guard in the league is now teaching a lot of these young guys how to play as a guard, as a lead facilitator, and kind of getting them to mesh. I thought it was really savvy. And, he seems like a good quality coach, and he's young, something that fits their timeline. I really like that fit, and he's doing a good job this year. Yes, 23 and 34, 24 and 34, whatever they're going to be after tonight. But they're playing 500 basketball after the new year, which is, now they're kind of starting to gel a little bit, and they're playing good team ball. Defensively, they're pretty decent for a young team, which is really surprising. They're not top 10 or anything, but they're not bottom 10, in my opinion. Or I think statistically it would show that too. So they got a good future. They really do. And it's kind of, they're playing with house money this season. They can really try and make a push for the play-in, or they can, they can lose steam and then they have another high pick. I really think that for this team to get where it needs to go, like down the line, being a great team, they're probably one of the best destinations for any point guard, star point guard that wants to ask out after this season or next season. You see maybe if the Hawks flame out, Trae Young's like, screw this, I want to go play for a team that can win. And then you got the Magic, who have picks. They have young guys to throw at it. Trae Young, Franz Wagner, and Paolo Banchero, that's a pretty damn good trio, just saying. And then I don't think Trae is as likely, but a person I would love to see them trade for, because I think he fits them perfectly for what he does, is Fred VanVleet. Because the Raptors, honestly, they just need to blow it up, get it over with. It's not working. It hasn't really ever worked since Kawhi left. And I think Freddie on this team, being a veteran, but being a really, really good point guard, knows how to dish the ball, can shoot, would fit awesome next to these guys. Because he can fit next to other big wings like Scotty, like Pascal. He can fit in that, and he plays defense, one of the best defending guards in the league, especially for his size. I think Freddie would be awesome on his team. I'm pushing that agenda. I hope he gets traded there. If I'm them, I would trade Suggs. Yes, you're giving up on a ton of potential there, but Suggs and a pick and maybe some filler or something, because you got to make the salaries work, and get Freddie. I like that fit. Tell me what you think in the comments. Do you think Freddie would be a good fit? What do you think of the Orlando Magic season thus far, their future? Because I think they're one of the best stories right now in the NBA, being a competitive team that is so young and kind of starting to flourish at the right time. So I like the ball that they're playing. Shout out to Jamal Mosley. Shout out to all the players. Shout out Paolo Banchero, because you're going to be a stud, and I can't wait to watch his career unfold. Let me know what you're thinking of the Magic this season. I think they're awesome. I think they're playing fun ball, and it's a good story to watch. So anyway, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and if you enjoy this kind of content, please like the video. But shout out to Magic. They're having fun. I'm done here. Peace.